What if I told you there's one indicator that could replace every other tool on your chart? One strategy that could turn just a few high conviction trades a month into six-figure potential. And the best part about it, it's free and super easy to use. Sounds wild, right? But that is exactly what I am about to show you. Most traders waste hours staring at charts, chasing setups, and trying to scalp pennies with 20 different indicators cluttering their screen. But what if instead of trading constantly, we focused on precision? Let's break this down. If you made just 1% a day trading, those trades would compound on each other and turn $5,000 into hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not hype, that's math. Now, 1% a day seems very obtainable to me. Does it to you? What if we took this a step further? You see, what if you didn't need to trade every day? What if instead of 1% a day, you made a handful of 10 to 15% trades each month? Just 2 to 3 of those a month using one clean strategy, and boom, you're compounding at 30% monthly again. That same $5,000 turns into hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have less screen time and more freedom. And the key to it all is the stochastic RSI on the 4-hour time frame. Now, I'm going to show you everything, so let's jump over to TradingView and I'll get you guys set up so you know what to look for and how I use the 5 and 95 levels to time my entries like a sniper. Alright, so we're in TradingView now, and first things first, we're going to add the stock RSI to the chart. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up here to indicators, type in stochastic RSI, and make sure you favorite it. And then once you do that and you click on stock RSI, it will pop up down here. You can make it bigger or smaller. Now, I just like to leave it on the default settings, so you don't need to change anything there. But here's the most important part. So we're only looking to take trades when the stock RSI is either below 5 or above 95. So let me say that again, below 5 or above 95. These are your high probability zones, and when the stock RSI is below 5, it means the asset is extremely oversold relative to its recent movement, and when it's above 95, it's extremely overbought. So to help us visualize these levels, we're going to draw a red horizontal line on 95. So let's throw that in there. And we're going to throw a horizontal line at 5. I like to use green. But here's the key, we don't just blindly enter, we wait for the cross. So if the percent K line, the blue line, crosses above the percent D line, the orange one, while we're under the 5 level, that's our signal to go long. It means momentum is shifting back upward from a deeply oversold position, and opposite for shorts, when we are above the 95 line and the percent K line crosses below the percent D, that's our cue to short or exit this long. So let me show an example of how this would have worked out on a 4-hour chart. We're on the 4-hour chart now, and as you can see, price dipped below the 5 line. This would have been your signal to buy, so you would have bought in somewhere in here. If you would have followed this indicator and sold in the 95, you would have gotten a 10 to 11% gain on your money. This trade would have taken 2 days to play out. Now this one, similar, bought and sold 3.89%, bought and sold 5.79%, bought and sold 1.83%, and this one's playing out right now, but if you would have bought down here, that's 10.39% to right here, and it looks like it should be coming into the 95 levels soon. Now a bonus tip is if you pair this with basic support and resistance or trendline zones, your accuracy skyrockets. So we're not trying to catch every move, we're just trying to catch the best ones and let probability play out. But if you would have taken these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades in roughly 38 days, you would have made 32.47%. If you would have started with $1,000, you would have made 324, and if you would have started with 10,000, you would have made 30,247. Now, I'd say that's a very good return for barely looking at the charts. So let's look at another coin instead of Bitcoin. Let's go to SUI. Okay, so now let's do the same thing with SUI. So you would have bought and sold almost 30%, bought and sold, would have taken a small loss of 2.24%. Bought and sold 7.79% gain, bought and sold, 9.2% gain. And here is the current one, so you would have bought in and still be riding it, but it should be playing out soon for almost a 30% gain, but we'll see how this one plays out. So if this one sticks around 30%, that would mean that this, in the last 35 days, using this method trading SUI, you would have made a return of 71.14%, which means that if you started with $1,000, you'd make $710, and if you started with 10 grand, then you would have made $7,114. Okay, so let's compare that to if you would have just bought on the first day of this trend and sold today, you'd be down 6%. So as you can see, following the RSI gives you a lot more upside because you're following when it is oversold and overbought. I started this strategy a couple months ago and I'm on track right now. So I started with 5K and I'm shooting to make 30% return every month. Now at the end of that month, I will be reinvesting my money back into the next trade for the next month so that I let it compound over the year. So by letting it compound, my investment should be doubled, which it is after 3 months. Now, by the end of the year, that $5,000 should earn a total interest of $111,000, which would bring my total portfolio amount to about $116,000. And that's only for 1 year. If I did this for 2 straight years, compounding every month, then that initial $5,000 would be worth $2.7 million in just 2 years. But the trick is to just stick with it because it will not seem like you're making much money at all in the beginning. See, when you just start out, this is with starting with 5,000. When you're just starting out, you might only make 1,500 in the first month, and then from there it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing until month 11 you make 84 grand. And here is another visual for you showing if you would have started with 5K and how it compounds every month. Now the same goes for if you invest with a smaller amount or a bigger amount. It doesn't really matter. If you're aiming for a 30% return, which I believe you could do, with the power of compounding, that would mean that every year your money is making about a 20 to 22x return. So if you started with $1,000, that $1,000 would turn into $22,000. If you started with $10,000, that would be roughly $222,000. Now this doesn't mean go out and put all your $10,000 in your piggy bank into a exchange and start trading with the $10,000. I want you to still start out with, even if it's just $100. Okay, start out small, get the hang of it, learn how to use the RSIs properly, which time frame you like, stuff like that. So take your time and let the power of compounding help you with this. Just keep trying to make 30% a month and take small trades and just get in and get out. Okay, the market's very volatile right now. You don't want to be sticking in it for too long. Just get in and get out with a nice, decent return. So this is how I trade. I don't chase pumps. I don't scalp every 5-minute candle. I just sit back and I wait for the right setups on the 4-hour using just this one tool. And when the stock RSI hits my levels, I act. Simple, it's powerful, and it works. So stick around because I'll be posting more examples, full trade breakdowns, and even a live session soon. If you want more in-depth live sessions like this, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment if you have questions. I read them all. Also be sure to check out the link below. This link is a free trial for Freedom Traders. Freedom Traders is a trading community that gives out these trading setups every day, as well as tons of other alpha and even trading lessons. So check it out and I'll see you in the next one.